Let me start. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Reality Club. I am one of your hosts, and my name's Lauren.
My name is Alicia.
And we're just so happy to have you here again.
We're happy to be back after a week of sickness. A little behind, but better than ever.
Yeah, if you're avid listeners, so sorry about last week. That will be out soon.
Yeah. By the time you're listening to this, episode 4 will be out. Just a little behind, but we got a lot to get into with episode 5 of The Bachelor today. Lots happened last week. Lots happened this week. Me and Lauren have not discussed any of it, so
No.
I'm excited to get into it.
I feel like this is when it gets difficult that we can't talk about it together during the day.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, this episode in general just shocked me in so many different ways. I feel like obviously we'll get to who goes home at the end, but I don't know. I have so many opinions about this episode.
yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about what happened. But does it surprise me? No. I've been saying since day one, Grant doesn't know what he's doing. Grant does not know what he's doing. And that's very clear.
I feel like I can agree with you now. At first, I think I said this a few episodes ago that Grant is really bad at pretending he likes people. I think I said something along those lines. But now I'm like, I feel like he's actually made every single girl in that house feel like they have a connection. And every single girl that goes home is blindsided this week. So
Yep.
I'm like, actually,
Well, okay, that's been happening though. I feel like every time he sends a girl home, it's like that earlier on in that episode, he was making some grand gesture to them.
yeah.
Or like telling them exactly the words that they want to hear.
Maybe at the beginning of the season, he was really bad at pretending he liked people or like showing the people he wasn't that interested in, like care and interest. And so the producers pulled him aside and were like, okay, you can't make it this obvious. Like, you have to make them feel important. And so he just went all in. And every girl thinks they're important now.
Whoever coached him on this season, they brutal.
But anyway,
he did not have good pep talks going into these dates. But that's okay. It's okay. Moving on. They go to Scotland, a new country. That's really exciting.
Trader's homeland.
Yes, true.
All I could think this whole episode was they're gonna go to the castle.
The same castle that the traders are in.
Yeah.
What a twist. And we finally got our one-on-one date with Juliana.
Yep.
Which, that one was a long time coming.
Yes.
But I also feel like the timing makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I feel like this is the most romantic date so far. And I feel like it was saved for her. Because even the type of date that it was, they get picked up by a helicopter. They fly over Scotland. They land at this grand castle, which I was hoping would be the Trader's Castle. But this one's bigger and better. And then they get greeted and are told that they're getting dressed by someone who's dressed the king and the queen.
Yeah, it's pretty bougie.
Like, I literally wrote down, she has to win. Because in past seasons, anytime there's been like that date where the bachelor takes the girl out shopping to like try on all the dresses and like pick out all her favorite things, that person like always wins.
Honestly, I feel like from the start, Juliana has been a standout.
Mm-hmm.
But after this date, and I mean, when they had their sit down, when they were sitting together eating dinner at the end, the connection there. This is the first time I feel like I've seen him with someone, and I was like, this is endgame. This is it. There's the physical connection. There's the emotional one. There's the way that they look at each other. Like, I immediately was like, she wins.
Yeah,
And if she doesn't, I'm gonna be shocked.
I would have to agree. It was such a cute date. They tried on all their outfits and then they get into their ball gown and it was so cute. They open the door and there's people dancing like we're in Bridgerton at a ball. And I was like, wow,
It was
this is
so
my dream.
romantic. I was gonna say,
I
you don't
know.
get, not everybody gets a date like that. Not everybody
Yeah.
gets an experience like that, but that was truly a one of a kind date that they had.
I
And it
know,
was
it was
really
so
cool.
cute. They presented Lady Juliana and she walks to Grant. I personally would have loved if they would have like learned that dance and were like dancing amongst the people. That'd have
Yep.
been so cute, but they're just standing in the middle, like swaying back and forth.
Yeah, yeah. They
But
probably they didn't have enough time.
yeah.
Her dress was gorgeous. The pink, she looked stunning.
And then Grant gives her, is this before their, I don't know if this is in the day portion or right before their dinner date, but he gives her a diamond necklace.
Yeah.
I'm like, does she get to
Yeah.
keep that or was that just for the for dinner?
No, I'm assuming she gets to keep it. That was like, in the past they've done like dates, like one-on-one dates where like they'll take a girl on a shopping spree.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you remember those kind? Like
Yeah,
that's and they get to keep all that stuff. So
that's
he
true.
just gifted her a diamond necklace. I wish we could have saw the reaction of the girls when Juliana came back and like showed the necklace.
With a, yeah. It was in the past seasons they've done those shopping dates and they come back with like 20 bags. And
And
they're
then the
like,
girls are so jealous. Not jealous that they got to spend time with the Bachelor, jealous of that they
the
just got a bunch of
clothes.
free shit.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, they sit down and they finally get to talk. And we actually get to like hear a conversation between them that's a little bit more in depth because obviously we've known this whole time that he's interested in her. They have a physical connection. Every time we see them, they're like giddy and cute, but like we've not seen any in-depth conversation between them. Not saying they haven't had one, but we've just not seen it. Um, and yeah, she opens up to him about how she had a close family member who struggled with addiction. And so she's felt a lot of her life like alone. And she says she like masks her fear of like that darkness she used to feel with like all the positivity. And that's why she's so just like smiley and positive. She says that yeah, it's almost like a defense mechanism in a sense. And immediately Grant is like relates to her because we've heard before that similar situation with his dad. He's also felt alone because his dad also struggled with addiction, and yeah, he like shows her his lone wolf tattoo, and you can tell they just like connect on a level that they truly understand each other.
I feel like the way they connected was something that I haven't seen with him and someone before.
Mm-hmm.
I think if fast forward, she ends up being the one, I think that's going to be the moment to him where he fell in love with her. I know he
Mm-hmm.
can't say anything right now, like it's too late for that, or too early
Yeah.
for that. But looking back, I think that's going to be the moment. You could see it in his eyes, you can see it in
Yeah.
hers. The way they like kind of bonded over that moment. And you're right, they had that kind of similar experience with their family members or like close members of their like that they grew up with. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that was a really special moment, and
Yeah.
I can't see it being anyone else now.
Yeah, she says that she thinks she's falling in love with him, and he has like the biggest smile on his face.
And
They,
that was very genuine. I feel
yeah,
like sometimes with him, I don't know how he's feeling with these girls,
yeah,
but like in that moment, you could tell like he was very present. Like that was all the happiness. Just I don't know. It was so great to see.
yeah. They were so cute. And then they go outside, and there's just like this massive fireworks show. They're just outside. There's fireworks all over the castle. I'm like, this is literally a fairy tale.
Yeah. It's honestly going to be messed up if they don't end up together.
Yeah, I think she wins, personally, but, or maybe I should stop saying win. I think Grant and her end up together.
Do we think they end up engaged?
I don't know.
Or
We'll
just together?
we'll see. We'll get to that.
How old is Julie? She's 28. How old's Grant? He's like
He's
gotta
like
be
30.
Like... Okay.
30, 31 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, their date is cute. That's exactly what I was expecting from them. Back at the house, we have the girls waiting for the group date card to see who's going to be on the group date and who's going to be on the second one-on-one. And I feel so bad for Zoe because she's the only person that didn't have a one-on-one besides Juliana going into this week. And she's on the group date. And Litia gets the one-on-one.
Litia technically didn't get a real one-on-one.
She didn't get a real one-on-one, but she did get more one-on-one time with Grant.
Yes. Yeah.
I truthfully feel like it's because Juliana and Litia are his top two. And this was his last two one-on-one dates before hometowns. And so I feel bad for Zoe, but I think it makes sense because I don't think Zoe is in his top two.
See, my mindset at that moment when she didn't get picked was...
She's going home.
I had a feeling he knew there wasn't a connection there and that she wasn't top four worthy, so he didn't want to bother wasting a date.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But clearly that's not what happens.
Yeah, things take a turn there. But that was in this moment when we're figuring it out, like, that was my current thought. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
Zoe's out of here. That makes sense.
Fair.
It's fine.
That's probably what she thought too, which she does kind of say later. But yeah, so she's on the group date alongside everyone else who's left. Carolina, Dina, Serafina, and who else?
I think that's it.
Was that it? No, there had to be more people on that date. Oh, Zoe.
Zoe,
obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, the group date looks like it's gonna be a fun time. They show up to like a smaller castle, and there's like a full Scottish festival going on. They're playing all these games. There's dancing. There's food. It looks like it should be a fun time.
Yeah, it looked like good vibes to me. They're honestly all I took from that at the beginning. Carolina says she's gonna lay low and wait for her time. So, Carolina, that's exactly what she does. She lays low. She doesn't really interact. She doesn't really participate.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. I feel like if I'm Grant and I'm here on a group date with these girls, I think it's a green flag to see the girls interacting together and like having fun together. I think being an odd one out, like, I understand that sometimes in situations like you might not, like, obviously Carolina's been having a bit of a tough time, but I don't know. I feel like she's literally playing the little boy cred wolf. Like, I think that just checked off for me why I don't like Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I feel like kind of similar to what I said last week. It's not she's not going in to intentionally be like, I want to steal all his time or any of that. It's the like lack of self-awareness that is my issue, because her feelings of insecurity and like doubt and seeing connections, Grant have all these other connections, those are all valid feelings. Like, if you're on the show, they're totally valid feelings. I think what the girls have an issue with is not that she's having those feelings, because of course other girls aren't going to love seeing connections. They're not going to they don't love those feelings either. I think it's the actions that she has because of them that are causing the issues, and she's not aware of that. Like, understandable that you feel insecure and sad and maybe like he doesn't like you as much and you wanted the one-on-one time. Totally valid. You can have those feelings. But to kind of just act pouty the whole time and like sit in a corner and not participate when you have the opportunity to spend time with Grant. Like, all of the other girls obviously want one-on-one time, but they're trying to make the most of the situation and play in the games and do all of these things to spend time with him. So she keeps saying that the girls are focusing on her, but the girls in this date, to me, during the group portion before all of the drama later, are focusing on Grant. And that's where my issue was. It's not that she's allowed to have the feelings that she's having, but I just don't like how she acts on them and isn't aware of like how that affects everybody else.
See, I'm starting to think now though that she is totally aware and she knows exactly what she's doing.
Honestly, I feel like she doesn't, because she, like, even just the way she was like, she's literally is so confused as to why they could be mad at her. And to me, that's crazy that you don't understand that why they would be upset at all.
I'm just getting this vibe that, like, she's putting on a front. Like, I think a lot of it was, if it weren't for this situation, there wouldn't be drama in the show. Mm-hmm. So I do think a bit of it is a little heightened. I don't think that I want to believe that, yes, she just has no idea what she's doing. But, like, part of me thinks she knows exactly what she's doing. And I mean, even when she was sitting there on the date, on the group date, Grant, obviously, because Grant's a good guy, he notices one girl's being left out or, like, on her own. So he's obviously going to go up to her. He's obviously going to check in and see what's happening.
Yeah.
So we're at this point. Her and Grant go off on the date, which, I don't know, maybe, I do think it's funny that the girls were kind of getting aggressive with her about how she took Grant away. Meanwhile, he was the one that did it. So, like, I do give Carolina a pass for that. Grant was the one that pulled you, but, like, it was because of your actions.
Yeah, that one is tough for me because, again, yeah, I do agree. Like, if you're sitting alone looking sad, you're asking for him to come see if you're okay. Like, again, you're seeking that validation from him in that moment. So while she's like, oh, he pulled me, of course he's the one who asked you to talk, but that's because you look like you're having the worst day of your life on this group date. Like, it's not like he pulled her out of, like, they weren't all equally participating, having a fun time, and then he was just like, oh, hey, Carolina, by the way, can I pull you on to talk to you just because?
Yeah.
He didn't pull her aside to talk to her just because he likes her the most. He pulled her aside because she's pouting in the corner, and he wanted to see if she was okay. Which, like, again, I know you're having a hard time, but other people are too. And so, to me, it's just, it's not that I'm trying to invalidate her feelings because they're valid. However, it's the way she acts on them and thinks she's the only one that might be dealing with the situation she's in right now. Everyone is feeling the same way, and they're choosing to have a different attitude and act on it differently. That's the difference to me. Yeah. But no, anyway,
that's a good point. But I mean, when they were talking, she mentions that she knows he has other stronger connections. Mm-hmm. And she's saying, why am I even here? Grant, to a certain extent, was kind of fighting for her to stay. Which, I mean, later on is kind of messed up. In that moment, in that conversation, she should have at least either made the decision herself to be like, you know what? This is my time. I'm going to go. Or Grant, at that moment, if he knew that maybe she wasn't going to be staying around for hometowns, he should have said something. I feel like that was the perfect interaction for her to leave or him to let her go.
True.
If she wasn't staying for hometowns, which later on we realized that she didn't.
Yeah.
Like, I would have just been annoyed if that were me in that conversation, if that were me feeling that way. Like, what would even be the point of keeping me around if you're just gonna send me home the next day?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. He definitely probably, yeah, it was interesting. He was so honest though. Like she literally was like, I know I'm not your strongest connection. Like why am I even here? Um which again to me really came across as like she's self-destructing. Like she wants to protect herself and so she's just being like tell me it's not me. Which I think
Yeah.
is a really
Or,
self-destructive behavior though because she's putting him in that position, right? Like instead of just trying to focus on growing the connection, she's trying to protect herself from getting hurt and just assuming the worst and being like, "Oh, it's not me. It's not me. It's not me. It's not me." Even if she doesn't truly believe that, she's like saying it so that he can confirm it.
see, I feel like she's saying it so that he could be like, no, Carolina, please stay. No, I really like you.
Yeah.
I think you're like, I think she's being very pick me, which I know sounds so bad, but like, that is the impression I'm getting from her. And after all of her behavior that she's had.
Yeah. It's interesting because he keeps saying, we had one of the strongest connections, and he's not sure how he feels. Like, he literally straight up told her that, but then also, like, fought for her to stay just for the evening. But anyway,
Yeah.
that somehow brought her mood up, and she was feeling happy again, I guess. Um, the girls, though, on the other hand, obviously aren't feeling happy because she gets extra one-on-one time again. Obviously, he pulled her, but it was because of her actions that he did that. And so yeah, I think it's totally valid for the girls to also feel frustrated that they've been trying this entire group date to have a good time and like spend time with him and they still ended up with not as much time.
Well,
So
especially since this is the last group date.
totally, like it's it's an important group date. It's not just any group date.
Yeah, it's an important one to get your last kind of conversations in with him. Even for them to like know themselves, like, is he the right one for me?
Yeah, because he's gonna meet their family. Of course they want the time. So
Yeah.
I could see them being frustrated regardless of the situation. But anyway, they go to the night portion of the group date because it starts raining. So I guess maybe the day portion was cut short,
Yep.
which unfortunate.
Yeah.
Zoe and him talk first, and she straight up just confronts him about not having a one-on-one and essentially says, like, in that moment, I thought I may as well just go home because she assumed that she's just not going any further. And then he reassures her, and I wrote, he better not send her home because he's literally like reassuring her that it was okay that they didn't have the one-on-one. And I was terrified knowing Grant's history that he was going to make her feel so good and then just send her home.
Well, that's honestly like that was my instinct after he gave Juliana the necklace. I'm like, the way his track record is working, she's going to be gone tonight. Like, it seems like that is his instinct, is let me make this girl feel so good and then send her home tomorrow. But I honestly that conversation didn't stand out to me, but that's such a good point. Mm-hmm. Because that would have sucked. So at least Grant stuck to his word once.
Yeah. And then we get a super brief conversation between him and Alex, and I'm like, have we even seen them talk in the past 4 episodes?
No. I was literally going to say that. Like, they haven't had, since their one-on-one date, we have not seen an interaction with the two of them.
No, which makes me sad. Even if she wasn't gonna make it to hometowns, she's such a fun person. Like, why did we not get a little more? Anything. They had they were the first one-on-one. She got the first impression rose, and then we just never saw her.
No, Alex deserved more screen time.
Yeah, 100% she deserved more. I've seen a few of her TikToks and she's really funny. So,
She is funny.
yeah.
People kept calling her Llama Girl on TikTok. Like, she's so much more than that.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know. So during all this, we're kind of getting little bits and pieces of Dina being a little pissed with Carolina. Dina, who stuck up for Carolina last week and was one of the only ones who did.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the way Dina approached that?
This was tricky. I feel like yeah, I don't know. There was so much going on, like kind of cutting in and out between their conversation. I feel like I see both sides of this like argument. I feel like Dina really wanted Carolina to like own her actions, and Carolina isn't able to do that at all. And so I could see how the girls are like really frustrated and are probably just feeling crazy at this point. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. How do you feel about it?
I love Dina. I think she's great. I think she's too mature to be in this situation with the girls. It did kind of, like, when she was saying to Carolina, like, it doesn't matter whether you pulled him or he pulled you, which in a way it kind of does, because Grant was the one that pulled her first. It's not like Carolina's just pulling him from the group date, being like, okay, bye. But at the same time, Carolina was the one sitting in a corner waiting for him to come and get her, in a way.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like overall, Dina's just, there's always one of the girls that kind of stand up and kind of speak for the group. And I mean, she's just saying what everyone else was thinking.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't love how they were like sitting in front of her, like kind of passive aggressively saying how they felt. Like that, I was like, okay, just tell her how you feel. Yeah. Like, if that's how you feel, just tell her how you feel. But I can understand both sides. Like, I feel like they probably just feel frustrated because they just want to hear from her. Yeah, like, I was acting like a baby, and that's why he pulled me and wasted the group date time. But instead, she's like, well, he just pulled me. And it's like, of course he pulled you. But he would not have just pulled you if you were just participating in and not acting like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like her actions like caused Grant to pull her. And yeah, and I'm not saying she's not allowed to be sad or she's not allowed to have those feelings. But again, I'm sure a lot of the other girls are feeling anxiety and sadness and needing validation, but they are choosing to act on it differently than she is. And so I feel like I see both sides. Like, I don't think their argument was very strong. I know what they were feeling, but I feel like how they were approaching it with her wasn't a valid argument sometimes. No. Like, I think it was just their anger and frustration coming out, but the way that they were approaching it, it's like it wasn't going to be a productive conversation.
No, but I also think that Dina and Carolina both have such strong personalities that it would be super hard for them to come to like a positive conclusion together. Yeah. Like, neither of them were going to cave in that conversation. It was just a very unproductive one.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it was just such an awkward conversation. It's just two groups of people seeing very different perspectives. And like, I feel like they both just feel crazy because neither of them can see each other's perspective. Yeah. So it's just like that awkward. So true. It's like the awkward, just neither of them can see each other's perception, and it just makes it like impossible to have an outcome. Dina talks with Grant, though, about Carolina. How did you feel about that?
I think I'm just kind of I'm done hearing girls talking about other girls with Grant.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that there's frustration, but like you got such limited time, and yes, sometimes those situations are ruining the time that you have together or limiting it. But I think it would just be so much easier if nobody talked to Grant about it.
Yeah, I feel like this episode...
Grant's just a bad person to have this information.
Yeah.
He's not going to be helpful.
I definitely think this episode, it was unnecessary. Like, it was last time, it was kind of a different scenario because he was the one asking.
Yeah.
But this time around, like, he didn't know anything happening. So I didn't think she needed to say anything. Like, I think Grant was going to come to his own conclusion no matter what. So it was interesting to me, though. What bothered me a lot was when Carolina was like super happy about her conversation and just being like, oh wow, all these girls are in such a bad mood, like why? Like it was kind of ironic because she was just like so positive, being like, I'm just gonna talk to Grant about me, and like being so happy and positive about it, meanwhile being like, oh, the girls are so focused on me and not Grant. And it's like, it's literally though because of your actions that you've been doing this entire season.
Honestly, I'm just hoping at this point that she is as oblivious as she's acting. I'm hoping it's not an act. I hope it's real. Because if this is all an act, I'm frustrated. But if it is real, it's just like, girl, you need a reality check.
Yeah.
And like, I'm hoping she rewatches it and is seeing all these things and being like, oh, snap. Was I seriously acting like that?
Yeah. So it was just kind of funny. But either way, I think Grant was kind of already done. Like, I think he just already, regardless of what Dina said, I think he just didn't feel confident in the connection anymore.
No.
Though I thought he was going to pick her still.
I didn't. I'll tell you my top 4 that I had before, like, once we get there, because I was like, before they handed out roses, I'm like, I need to pick my own top 4 to see what happens.
But anyway.
Okay. But I did think, Dina's honestly, I do think she handled the conversation maturely. I don't think she needed to have the conversation, but I do kind of think she was mature about it compared to how other girls kind of bring up drama.
To me, it kind of just seemed like she was like his mom. She was just like not saying the exact words, and she was like, "You're a smart guy, though. You'll figure it out." Like, she wasn't even saying anything, but it kind of just sounded like she was his mom being like, "But you're a smart guy, Grant. You're gonna figure it out."
She makes it sound so mature, though. I mean, I genuinely, she is a mother figure to Grant right now. I think that's why she's around. He needs that strong woman in his corner, and that is her right now. She's there for one reason and one reason only. Sorry,
I honestly thought it was just like I thought she just thought she was going to be going home, and so she just said that out of like spite on the way out. But
okay.
But it is what it is. Anyway, we get Litia has her first full one-on-one, second one-on-one, and they get to just walk around Edinburgh.
Is it not Edinburgh?
Oh, I don't know. Cut that out.
Now I don't know.
Anyway, they get to walk around Scotland. Which is a very cute date.
Yeah, walking, exploring, eating. Grant starts playing bagpipes in the street.
Any chance.
That was pretty rad.
He's playing Party Girl on bagpipe.
Any chance he has to show even the slightest bit of musical talent, he's there for it. Weird how we haven't had another date where he serenades someone.
I know, not yet. Not yet.
Do we think he's gonna bring it to hometowns?
Hopefully. Maybe someone has a piano at home.
Or maybe in one of the fantasy suites.
Yeah.
To the lucky girl.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like their date was just so cute. You can tell that they just have like a natural connection. Like they're just super comfortable. Like even the difference between this date and like Dina's date last week when they were walking around, it just seemed like Litia and him were already dating.
Yep.
They tie the knot.
Yep. And then they ran into those two older ladies. Mm-hmm. And then I thought it was so cute when they asked Grant, like, if he sees wedding bells in the future. Or like if something about like if they're gonna, get married, whatever. And he says, yes, he definitely can. And Latia's face lit up. I don't know if he was referring to her or just in general, but Litia took that as, oh my God, this man's picking me.
Yeah, I know. Her eyes, when she's staring at Grant, like, are kind of scary sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like she could be a scary lady.
She not scary in like a mean way, but she's so lit up when she's staring at him.
Yeah.
I feel like she's like seeing this person that she like wants to see. Do you know what I mean?
She's seeing them walking down the aisle at the altar. She's seeing all the kids they're gonna have. Like she's ready.
Yeah.
She's there. And I think you're right in the sense this date compared to Dina's, it seemed you could see that connection. And this is how I felt with Juliana too. The two of them, I feel like you saw the connection. It felt natural. The other dates, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Actually, oddly enough, when he went on the date with Serafina, I didn't love Serafina, but when they were on their date together, like I got that same kind of vibe.
Yeah. I agree.
But Litia's cute. She's so pretty too.
She's gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
They would have some stunning children.
They go to their dinner date and it's so funny. They like sit across the long table like a king and queen would. That was so cute.
Yeah. And then obviously they get deep. Their last convo together.
This was wild to me that, I mean, I know it's like a super fast process, but it's kind of crazy to me that she didn't, like, this is kind of the first time she's talking about her religion and being religious. Like, so she tells him that her family's very conservative. They're Mormon. And she's also only dated men who were of her same religion. This is the first time she's ever dated outside of that. And she wants to raise her children in the same religion. So, and she wants God in her marriage and in her kids' lives. And then, yeah. I mean, I feel like Grant doesn't have an understanding, really, of Mormon faith, to be honest. Because he even says in one of the ITMs, like, when he's not talking to her, he's like, I don't really know much about Mormon faith. And I'm like, it's a very strict religion.
I'm pretty sure it is too. I mean, I'm going by The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which I know that is not like by any means them following the strict religion, but like I think there's just certain things you can and can't do.
Yeah.
Which if she wants her kids to also kind of grow up this way, then his life is going to have to change a bit.
Mm-hmm. And like he seems to have faith. I don't know his like exact religious stance, but he definitely speaks on like, you know, having God in his life, and he wants that in his family and his kids too. What that means in actual technical terms for their religion, I don't know. But he definitely seems like open to it. And then, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's probably going to be something that affects their relationship a little bit. But who knows? Maybe it's not. Maybe they're just like teasing it in the hometown previews that it's going to be an issue. But I am curious for that date.
I think so too. It seems like maybe her parents aren't going to be super on board with this.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, they knew she was coming on the show. She
Mm-hmm.
knew what the show would entail, so it's not like it's a major surprise what's going to happen.
Yeah. But they seem really cute. They seem... I mean, he actually says he's falling for her. I don't know. I feel like for me, the way that I see it right now, and I could be very wrong, is like he definitely can see Litia as his wife, and I feel like he's been able to see their connection from very early on. So I feel like Litia was like his original strong connection, but like Juliana, I feel like is now above her, but like she's still like that super strong connection. It's like she was the original one, and I feel like Juliana is like the actual like connection that he ends up with. But I don't know, because the previews make it sound like he has actually no idea.
I believe that he doesn't know.
And I think you're right with your thoughts on that.
But like looking back, if I was the girl he picked and then I saw that footage, oh my God, they're probably not together anymore.
I know. I'm like not even as interested in who he picks anymore. I'm just interested to see like how that works out, because you have to be a pretty secure person to be like, my fiance didn't know he was picking me to be his fiance until 10 minutes before our proposal. He might have picked another person. Like, that is wild.
That's not cool. And honestly, I feel like anybody in that situation, it would be hard not to think about that other person.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be able to move on with our relationship normally knowing that and thinking, like, every day I would think, well, does he want to be with her now? Does he regret picking me? Is he thinking, like, what would my life be with this girl instead of who I picked?
Yeah. That's
why
not... I mean, that's why this
live.
franchise doesn't work out for most people. It's a terrible foundation.
Yeah.
It's a terrible, terrible foundation to build a relationship off. I feel like the slim people that make it are like people who are super like conscious of their decisions throughout the season to make sure that their partner feels cared about. But
Yep.
hopefully it does work out, because Grant really wants a wife and kids. So I hope this works out for him.
No way. Well, during this too, I know you said that Grant says he's falling for her, but Litia also says that she loves him.
Yeah.
So,
and he's like, I feel like I do really like Grant as a person. I feel like the more we see him with his like top connections, the more he actually opens up, and we like see who he is as a person. And you can tell he's just like craving love, and he wants that so badly.
But that's kind of what worries me, is like, is he craving just that feeling, or is he craving like that person?
True. Or is he just craving the idea? Because I feel like in this world, it's so easy to like see the idea of these people, right? Like, because you barely know them. So like you're taking very limited time and information about them and creating a vision of what life would look like with them, but you don't actually know. So
yep. I don't know. I'm a little worried for him, and I'm a little worried for whoever he picks.
Yeah. We go right to the rose ceremony. There's no cocktail party. So
yeah, that was quick turnover. I'm gonna share with you my predictions.
Okay.
I was convinced. Like, I'm usually pretty good at figuring out who's moving on and who's not. My predictions for people going home were Carolina, Alex, and Zoe. I thought the top 4 was going to be Juliana, Litia, Dina, and Serafina.
Interesting. I thought it was going to be Juliana, Litia, Carolina, and Zoe.
What? Really? You didn't think Dina was gonna stay?
Oh my gosh, no. My jaw hit the floor when Dina's name was called. I was like,
My jaw
what?
hit the floor when Zoe's name was called. Alicia, I have never felt so caught off guard before.
Okay, so this is the thing though. My four were Carolina, Litia, Juliana, and Zoe. However, I was also shocked when Zoe's name was called, not because I didn't think she was going to get to the top four, but because I thought Carolina was going to stay over her. So when he called the name Dina, I was like, whoa, who the heck is staying? Like, I was so confused on who was staying. Sorry to Serafina, but I didn't see her in the top four. So yeah, I was very shocked when he picked Dina. Not because I didn't think they had a connection, I just thought he had a stronger one with Carolina and Zoe. And yeah, but when he called Zoe's name, I was shocked. Not because I didn't think she deserved to be in the top four. I think their connection's strong, but just because I was shocked that Carolina was going home.
See, I had the mindset with Zoe because she didn't get asked on the date. I'm like, he does not like her. So my mindset was Zoe's going home. So that I'm like, okay, it's gotta be. Carolina wasn't even on my radar.
Really?
I was like, maybe, honestly, and Serafina, I never liked. Her date with him we had last week or the week before. That's kind of what was like, okay, you know what? I feel like I see a connection there. Alex, I knew Alex wasn't going to stay.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Sorry,
they've
Alex.
had, like, one conversation
I
in 4 weeks.
wanted her to stay because I was hoping that they actually just had this connection that we weren't seeing, and we'd get to see a lot more of her next week. Like, I wanted that. I didn't think it was going to happen, but that's what I wanted the reality to be. But yeah, as soon as they were standing there, I was like, there's no way that Alex, unfortunately, is in the top four. But before he does have the rose ceremony, Carolina pulls Dina and they talk.
Now, do we think this was just to make her look good? Or do we think she genuinely wanted to make up with Dina?
I think she genuinely did want to make up with Dina. Like, again, I don't think Carolina is like a bad person. I've never thought she's a bad person. I think she's just, again, not very self-aware. But I think the thing with Dina and Carolina, like, even just like thinking back to their fight, it was just so, it really had no substance. They were just kind of like, I feel like they just had like they had a connection. And Dina, when she was going at Carolina, I feel like it was coming from a place of like hurt, like, because they did have a really strong friendship. Like, it didn't seem like it was coming across as like, I'm just gonna come at you because everyone else is. It really came across as like, I stood up for you, I cared about you, and you hurt me. And that's why it seemed very like chaotic, you know. Not that justifies her like doing that necessarily, but I just feel like it came across as like she's just hurt because her friend actually hurt her, not just this person's hurting her. Yeah. So I do think it was like genuine in the sense of like she wanted to like have that connect, I don't know, just apologize. But that's funny because she didn't even really apologize until like after. She kind of was like, I just wanted to pull you aside because I'm not sure how we got here. And I care about you, but I don't know how we got here. Like, it wasn't like I just wanted to apologize or
that's true. That's true. Classic Carolina.
But it's funny though. I think though Carolina pulled her aside and she said, I don't know the next time we're going to see each other. And I think Carolina thought Dina was going home and she was staying when she said that.
Oh, no, see, my mindset was still Dina staying, Carolina's out of here.
Interesting. Oh my gosh, interesting. Yeah.
I don't know, I just couldn't see...
Well, you're right.
I don't know, I just couldn't see Carolina being... Like, I genuinely think she was just here for the drama. I
don't think she was, but I think
she was.
You think you're here just for the drama?
I think Grant thought she was hot, and I think she was entertaining for TV. I do think there's obviously some substance to her, and that she does seem like a cool girl. I just don't think she was the one for Grant, and I think she stayed longer than maybe she
I think they had more potential if she would have just not been in her head so much. If she would have just been like, because she even said she felt like she was like a shell of herself, and you could even see that because like at the beginning she was like so confident, and by the end she was like so not that person. So I don't feel like she went there for the drama. I think she definitely got really in her head and made some poor act, like she kind of self-destructed and like caused some things for herself, honestly. I just don't think she could handle the show. She was not mentally like ready to handle that show. And not, I mean, who is, but I really got the best of her over some other people for sure.
Yeah. No, you're right. I feel like obviously as someone who watches the show, you really don't know anything about what it's actually like to be there.
No.
Yeah. I do feel for Carolina. Maybe like Grant just wasn't the right guy for her.
Yeah,
I mean, think she should go on Paradise. I think that would be entertaining.
I think she'll have a redemption arc on Paradise.
I hope so.
I feel like she's going to be one of those people that like was just portrayed pretty badly on the show. Again, we don't really know anything. So like we have all these opinions and we don't know what's happening. She's portrayed poorly. At least in my perception, she's portrayed poorly. But I feel like those people always go on Paradise and then they have like the best redemption arc and they find their husband.
Yeah, they're always the people that you see on Paradise and you end up just loving.
Totally.
And they're so entertaining.
Yeah.
And I think that's more her vibe.
Yeah. She won't be in her head as much.
No.
And she'll be, yeah. I feel like she's going to go on Paradise and I feel like we'll probably like her in Paradise. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. But honestly, at the beginning, Carolina, I'm just looking back on, I think this was the first or second episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the first, but we made a top 5.
Was she in there?
And our top 5 was Juliana,
okay,
Alex,
Rose,
LOL, that was because of me, Carolina, and Zoe.
Whoa.
So, like, 3 out of 5
wow, that's good,
are in the top 4. So we had some pretty strong predictions. They were some good ones.
We just didn't see Litia coming at all.
No, Litia got written down a little later on.
That's impressive. But so obviously Litia, Juliana, Dina, and Zoe stay. Carolina's exit. She goes, "It's disappointing, but okay," or something. I mean, not to lie, but I am disappointed.
I wonder if I think you're right. It was probably a genuine shock for her.
I think she thought she was staying. And why wouldn't she?
Well, I mean, especially after that conversation that she had just had with Grant earlier that day or the day before.
Yeah.
Like, totally. That's what would have made me mad. Was like, why wouldn't you just send me home yesterday?
No, exactly. So I understand why she thought she was staying. Like, he could have sent her home when she said, "I'm not the one, like, why am I even here?" So, totally valid feeling. Poor Alex.
Yeah, that was a sad goodbye.
Yeah, I honestly want, like, all of these girls on Paradise. But then we also have all of the girls from Joey's season.
Has there not been a Paradise since?
No. There hasn't been a Paradise since, like, before. It's been a while. Wait. So there's, like, 2 full seasons of cast members.
Maria.
Oh, my God. Maria's not going on Paradise. Unless she is. So? You know what? Maybe she was way too big for Paradise last year. But, like, I don't know. I don't follow her anymore. Like, I don't know how she's doing. Maybe she needs to go on Paradise this year.
Wasn't she asked to be the Bachelorette? And she said no?
Supposedly. I don't know, though.
I believe that happened.
I believe she was probably asked. But
I think she would go on Bachelor in Paradise.
You think she would? I don't know anymore because I don't follow her. Like, I don't know how she's doing. I want to look at her Instagram.
I know. I'm just looking at... I totally forgot who was even on...
The season?
Joey's season. Oh my God, Daisy.
Daisy's in a long-term relationship.
Good for her.
I mean,
Go
who
for her.
knows? Like, she's probably totally fine without Paradise, but
I just think she'd be a good fit for Paradise. She'd be entertaining. She's hot.
We didn't.
Oh my god, this is unlocking so many memories right now.
Yeah, well, who else was on that season?
Jen.
Oh.
Jen. Rachel.
Rachel. Who's Rachel?
To be honest, if you saw her face, you'd know her face. All these names are so like Rachel, Jess, Caitlin, like
yeah, I don't really remember them, to be honest.
None of these. There was only maybe 2 or 3 that really stood out to me this season.
Fair. Yeah.
Oh my god, some of these girls I don't even recognize. Now Joey's season was a blur.
Jen's, man, oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what the cast will look like this year, because I wonder if they're going to pull mainly from the last 2 seasons or if they're just going to pull from everywhere. I'm so excited.
I think they'll pull from everywhere. I mean, obviously they'll probably pull more people from these last couple seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it's going to be a good season. But yeah, Maria would be crazy. Maria and Carolina together?
That would either be really great or really scary.
That's exciting, though.
They both give kind of similar energy. Actually, no. Maria's like a lot more... They give like same but different energy.
Yeah, I loved Maria.
Maria was very confident, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she knew what she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't even remember. She lasted pretty long, though.
Yeah, I think she made it to hometowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. She made it to hometowns. They went back to like they didn't even go back to Canada. They went back to like Niagara Falls in the States. I think.
I was gonna say she lived like a half hour from my house.
Oh, that's
where
so
I grew
cool.
up.
That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know her, but it's cool when like there's not very many Canadians that go on The Bachelor, but like it's nice when there's the odd one.
Yeah.
And they usually stick around.
True.
Yep.
But anyway, we get the previews for next week. Looks like yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're just trying to make it look like there's going to be drama, but probably not. They previewed Litia's like meeting her family. We meet Juliana's like, I think it's Italian family. I think they're trying to like make drama in the preview, but I think they'll all be fine.
I don't know. Sometimes there's like issues with the families.
I'm excited.
Mostly like the family is just not understanding the concept.
I'm curious to see how Grant does when like the families grill him and like with the families that he's not gonna pick. Like Litia and Juliana are the top 2. So like I'm curious how he talks about like Zoe and like Dina to their family.
Grant
like,
gives me the vibe that like he's really good with parents, but I don't think he's gonna be good at the confrontation of his parents or the parents being like, so why my daughter over the others?
Yeah. Well, think of like Zoe's going home with a man she's never had a one-on-one date with. She's only ever gotten to know this person on group dates with other people, and she's like, "Hey, family, this is this person I've never had a date with before."
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's wild.
Nuts.
But we'll see. I'm excited. I really just want to get to like the end.
Yeah, I'm ready for this to be done. I don't
Bring on Paradise.
I personally don't feel like that big of a connection to anyone on this show right now. Yeah. Yes, I have my favorites, and yes, I have the ones that I think will go far, but like I feel like it just came and ended so quick that you just really didn't get enough time to like grow an attachment to any of the girls.
Well, I feel like they just spent a lot of time on Carolina and like the girl drama. And like it's funny because it's like drama, but it wasn't even that bad of drama. Like
No.
we've seen way worse drama before. They just kind of like held on to the one thing that was happening. But yeah, I feel like we just spent most of our time in that. And that dragged on all the way to hometowns.
Yep.
Usually it's like the first few episodes we get all the drama, and then it kind of is more like about the connections, and this time it felt like just...
But like realistically, it's only been a few episodes.
True. I know, I feel like the season was fast. Like all of a sudden we had 25 people and now we have 4.
Yeah, like hometowns are right away. What, then fantasy suites and then it's the end? That's
But
like 3 more weeks left.
But at the same time, I feel like even though we're down to so many girls, I feel like the past 2 episodes, I'm like every single person I feel like he has a connection with. You know? Like this like
Maybe my issue is I don't have a connection to any of these girls right now.
Fair.
I feel like by now I usually do. I have this attachment and I feel like I know them.
That's true. Like I actually don't care who he picks. Like not that I ever really care who he picks. With the lead picks that's for them, I feel like there's not one person that I'm like, okay, I really like this person and I really hope they're together, because I don't feel that with anybody.
No, me either. Which is like weird, but I think it's because there has been people saying that Grant's season is shorter than past Bachelor seasons.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why.
So,
yeah, I feel like it's kind of quick to be at hometowns, but
well, I'm excited.
Me too.
These next 2 weeks are like my favorite.
I know. This is when it gets good.
Yeah. Yeah, the home stretch. We're almost there.
And until then, stream Party Girl on Spotify.
Yeah, did anyone else know that Grant had a song on Spotify?
Lauren and I just figured out that Party Girl is Grant's single on Spotify. And the reason why we think Juliana wins is because there's no way Litia let Grant release Party Girl on Spotify.
Absolutely not. I just want to know, did he write this song
Before?
after The Bachelor or before?
I know. I don't even know if it's real, honestly, but it sounds real.
It does sound real. Well, he posted it on his Instagram.
Oh, okay. It's real.
Like, he posted a photo of him, like, the first night of The Bachelor and had that song in the background.
Okay.
So, like, unless he's trying to prank everyone, this, I think, is the real deal.
That's so funny. But, anyway.
Anyway, until next time.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Bye.